Hi and welcome to Just the Job. This is the place to be every week to find out about some of the amazing careers that are out there waiting for you. Now today we have a very special program looking at some of the varied careers to be found within the Department of Corrections. First up, we're with Lisa to find out what it takes to be a psychologist and a program facilitator with the Department of Corrections. Then we'll be joining Fuchsia, who is training to be a nurse and wants to find out more about the nurse's role in a prison. And in our final segment, we look at the careers of a probation officer and community work supervisor with Teresa. So let's get started and join Lisa as she learns more about the fascinating careers of a psychologist with the Department of Corrections.
Hi, my name is Lisa Galloway. I am currently studying postgraduate psychology at the University of Auckland.
Lisa is at Rehabilitation and Reintegration Services in Hamilton, a community-based psychology treatment unit, to meet psychologist Jessica Borg.
Hi Lisa, welcome. I'm Jessica.
Psychologists in the Department of Corrections give psychological treatment to offenders in the community and in prison.
So we'll be meeting Mark today, who's been released from prison for 2 years. We've received a referral from probation services, and we want to know how he's doing in the community and how best we can support him during his parole.
Like, how do you determine who does and does not get assessed?
We tend to see the higher risk offenders, both violent offenders and sexual offenders. And what will happen is that they'll be assessed by a psychologist, and we will determine what their risk of reoffending is, as well as what treatment programs are best suited for them.
Lisa is about to use her existing psychology training in the meeting with Mark.
Hi there. Nice to meet you, Mark.
Hi Mark, good to see you again.
So, if it's okay with you, today I'm going to be the one that's talking with you.
Psychologists are the kings of communication and skilled at building trust. So the first thing Lisa needs to do is get Mark talking about his offence.
What happened at the bar the night that you were arrested and sent to prison?
Yeah, no, I can. There's a guy off to the left of me, far corner of the bar, and he's looking at me across the bar.
Psychologists will get the offender to revisit the moments that triggered their negative behaviour.
Give me the look, you know, trying to take me on.
By understanding those triggers, the offenders can learn how to safely deal with them in the future so they don't re-offend.
Yeah, no, he wants it. He's going to get it. I turned around to face the rest of the bar, expecting to see everyone be like, yeah, you showed him, but they didn't.
And after that, you were arrested and convicted and you went to prison.
Yep.
Because this meeting is an assessment of risk, Lisa asks about Mark's previous treatment to see if his rehabilitation is working.
There's one thing for sure, and it's one thing that Tom told me. He says, violence is never okay. Simple. VNOC, he called it. Violence is never okay, and I never thought about it like that, you know.
A psychologist's skill is in their ability to motivate people to change by their own choice.
Now, having come out, you know, I don't drink, I don't touch the alcohol, I don't touch drugs.
Mark is making progress, just one of the rewards of being a psychologist.
It's important that we don't view the person as they're offending, we view the individual that we're working with as a whole, and try and look at also the strengths that they come in with. And ultimately, that's why I love my job, because you believe that people can change, we believe that people could have a better future. And of course, our work can prevent victims in the future, and that's why I'm in this job.
Psychologists may refer people like Mark to program facilitators like Natalie Cliff for further treatment.
Hey Lisa, I'm Natalie.
Nice to meet you.
Let's go.
Natalie works with groups of offenders in prisons and in the community who have been ordered to take therapy sessions as part of their rehabilitation and reintegration into society.
This is Lisa.
Hi. Lisa. Nice to meet you.
Today, Lisa is helping out with a group session on violent behaviour, and one of the first things they do is find out how the offenders are feeling.
Paul, how are you doing today?
Yeah, good, yeah.
Good today?
Yeah, not too bad.
Because it's frustrating not being able to express your emotions, Natalie gets the offenders to use an emotional scale, which helps them become more emotionally literate.
A little bit stressed out, had a bit of an argument last night with the missus, but...
This exercise makes discussion easier for everybody in the group.
I took some time out and went down to mate's place.
The The program facilitator's job is to guide an open discussion amongst the group.
I liked how you said, well, you left the house and went down.
Yeah, just chill out. With
Yeah,
mates.
yeah, I like that, man. I think I might try
Beers,
that.
smoke.
So it's not about us telling them what to do, but it's about giving them some ideas and helping them to find what's best going to work for them. And I was wondering how you think that might fit in with what you guys are talking about at the moment.
The aim is to get the offenders to challenge each other, getting into some uncomfortable territory about their problematic behaviour. This challenge ultimately helps with change. Because every group is different, program facilitators will reflect on the session to analyse each offender's progress and risk of reoffending.
So I could see from Phil's body language that there was something not right, and I was concerned that his emotional thermometer was rising. So that's why we stopped the conversation and moved to talk with him.
To use the bloody car, didn't put any gas in it.
Program facilitators encourage debate in order to explore issues and allow the offenders to come up with better ways of dealing with difficult situations or emotions. Program facilitators guide the discussion using their knowledge and make sure that the group is engaging meaningfully with the issues.
Because that's what ultimately promotes change and gets the guys to really question about what they're thinking, what they're feeling, ideas that they've held on to.
This group is more than halfway through its 13-week course, so the offenders are able to confront their problems.
Still get really angry really quickly, you know?
And Natalie has motivated them to change.
And I want to sort that.
Like all careers with the Department of Corrections, there are challenges working with offenders, but the reward is knowing that you are reducing reoffending in the community.
So the personal rewards of this job is getting to see people change, and you get to see the light bulb moments, and those are the things that you hold on to, and that, yeah, it's awesome.
This kind of work is why I'm studying psychology, and this is why I'm striving towards working in the Department of Corrections.
Program facilitators come from a diverse background and are expected to have a bachelor's degree in psychology or social sciences. Knowledge and experience of te reo and protocols of Māori and Pacific people is useful. You will also need a full driver licence. On application, you need to declare any criminal convictions and offences may affect your selection. To be a psychologist, useful school subjects include English and Maths, and a tertiary entrance qualification will be needed. You will need a minimum of a master's degree in psychology with further qualifications in clinical or forensic psychology and be registered with the New Zealand Psychologists Board. The degree will take 3 years to complete and a further 3 years for a postgraduate master's degree. On application, you need to declare any criminal convictions and offences may affect your selection. Having a full driver licence will be useful. Thanks, Lisa, for an amazing insight into two careers that really do make a difference for the wider community. After the break, we're with Fuchsia to find out what it takes to be a nurse in the prison environment. See you soon. Welcome back to Just the Job. Let's join Fuchsia now to see what it's like to work as a nurse for the Department of Corrections.
Hi, my name is Fuchsia, and I'm a third-year nursing student, and I want to check out what nursing is like in a prison.
Fuchsia is going inside Spring Hill Corrections Facility, one of 20 prisons in New Zealand,
Hi, Fuchsia.
to meet Kirsten Harrison, a nurse at Corrections. Nurses at Corrections provide the same range of healthcare to prisoners as nurses do in the community.
So what's the main difference between working on the outside and working here?
When you're working in a hospital as a nurse, you're in a more specialised environment, whereas when you're working here, we do a variety of things, from accident and emergency right through to general practice, primary health care.
There are about 9,000 prisoners in New Zealand, and nurses help with the ultimate goal of reducing reoffending by focusing on the offender's health and well-being.
So what kind of skills helps in this kind of work?
In this environment, I think life experience is really, really important. Also having a wide variety of skills. You need accident and emergency, and you also need knowledge in long-term medical conditions as well. So we're just going to go and give a prisoner his medication now, okay? You need to make sure that you've got the right prisoner first. He needs to be facing you with a glass of water, okay? Put the medication in his hand. He's got to swallow that medication, and you need to check his mouth to make sure he's swallowed it.
Okay. Yep. Morning, how are you today?
Morning, how are you?
We've got your morning medication.
You must make sure that he's got his hand out with his cup of water in his other hand, okay? All right.
Okay, so we've got your blueprint here.
Okay.
Lovely, thank you.
Thank you.
Well, I applied for a job at the Department of Corrections because it provided me with a challenge, also a really good environment to use the skills that I've learnt over the last few years of being a nurse. And the hours are really good, they fitted in with my family, better than working shift work and night shifts, and the opportunity to progress in my nursing career.
Every new prisoner like Dylan gets an initial health check.
One of the really important things for us is that we're working with people that may have never had access to adequate healthcare before, so they often arrive really, really unwell. Do you have any history of any depression or anxiety in the last 12 months at all? No,
not really.
No. And we move through the treatment process and they get to the end of their sentence and they're quite healthy, they're quite well, so that's quite rewarding.
Male and female prisoners are housed in different prisons. Kirsten now takes Fuchsia to Auckland Region Women's Correctional Facility to see how nurses with the Department of Corrections deal with women's health issues on the inside.
We're dealing with women here, so you've got health issues specific to women, so gynecology and pregnancy-related issues. Often in the community, they're very unwell, they haven't been cared for adequately, so our job is to bring them back to optimum health while they're here.
So what kind of person would be good for this job?
You need to be really tolerant, patient and kind, and also leaving your prejudice at the door.
Now it's Fuchsia's turn to do an initial health check of new prisoner, Mary.
Nurse, where would you like, prisoner?
Just over here, thank you.
Take a seat, miss.
My name's Fuchsia. I'm one of the student nurses. How are you today?
Good, thank you.
Is it okay if I do your healthcare assessment with you? Okay, so what it involves, I'll just ask you some questions and whatever your answer is, I'll just type in. Have you had any screenings done before?
I had it last year, no.
Have you taken medication for mental health illness in the past? Questions for you. Okay, have you had unprotected sex before?
Yes.
Yes? Okay. Okay, so do you think you might be pregnant?
I might be, but I'm not sure.
Okay, so we'll just do a urine test just to do a pregnancy test on you, and if you are pregnant we can go on from there for further testing. So is that okay with you?
Yeah, not a problem.
Okay.
Okay, Mary, we've done this test and it's saying that it's positive, okay?
Oh my God.
It's okay.
What I'm gonna do, that means I'm gonna have this baby in here.
How long are you going to be here for?
3.5.
3.5 years? Okay, so you will be having your baby while you're here, all right? But don't worry about it at the moment. We've got a midwife, okay? The midwife will take care of your pregnancy care.
Is there a possibility that I can keep baby in here?
Yes, there is. We've got a mother and baby unit here.
Prisoners who meet certain criteria may have the opportunity to keep their baby with them for a certain period of time in one of the purpose-built mother and baby units.
It's more than just patching a person up and getting them out the door. We're looking at the person as a whole, and we're dealing with a really vulnerable population here. So one of the things I really enjoy about working here is that very thing. It's educating and promoting and helping a person be able to take care of themselves. And that's why I really love my job.
I really like helping people, especially in this vulnerable environment, and I think this will be a really good nursing role for me in the future.
Useful school subjects for people wanting to become a nurse at corrections include science, biology, statistics, English, te reo Māori and health. To become a nurse, you'll first need a nursing degree, which takes 3 years to complete. Then to become a nurse at corrections, you must be registered with the Nursing Council of New Zealand, displaying adequate primary healthcare experience, have a current practicing certificate, and have a full current driver licence. The Department of Corrections does offer a number of graduate nursing positions whereby you can gain experience working for the department. On application, you need to declare any criminal convictions and offences may affect your selection. Thanks, Fuchsia. Great job. After the break, we're with Teresa, who's finding out what's involved in the roles of a probation officer and community work supervisor. You're watching Just the Job, the show that takes you behind the scenes of some of the amazing careers that are out there. Now, next up, Teresa discovers more about the varied work of a probation officer and community work supervisor.
Hi, I'm Teresa Graydon and I'm currently doing a Bachelor of Arts in Psychology and English. Today I'm going to check out what it's like to work for Community Probation Services.
Today, Teresa is helping Department of Corrections Probation Officer Clifford Thompson.
Kia ora, Teresa. Clifford.
Hi.
Our job as probation officers is obviously to manage offenders out in the community. So the first thing that we're looking at, or what we're going to be doing, is ensuring that offenders comply with those sentences and orders when they're in the community. Secondly, it's looking at how do we reduce the likelihood of their reoffending. And thirdly, it's about how do we minimise the risk of harm they present to others whilst out in the community. So what we're going to do now is we're going to go into a morning brief.
Cool, let's do it.
Yep. Good morning, everybody.
Team meetings like these give probation officers a chance to support one another and work as a team when making important decisions about an offender.
We have one possible hookup today, and that's an offender by the name of Ben Salossi.
Last year, Ben Salossi was arrested, charged and found guilty of cultivating cannabis and possession of cannabis for supply. That's where the probation officer comes in.
The police charge them and they provide us with a summary of facts, but that's basically where it will end for them.
After Ben is convicted, a probation officer prepares a sentence recommendation for the judge. Probation officers gather information on offenders from sources like the police, community groups, family and interviews, where they look for things like remorse.
Would you have done anything different?
At the end of the day, I probably shouldn't have done what I did.
The judge has gone with Clifford's recommendation and sentenced Ben to home detention.
So what kind of person is good for this job?
Well, life skills are really important and communication is key.
And because probation officers are responsible for ensuring offenders complete their sentences, it's time to explain what the next 6 months hold for Ben.
Hey Ben, how's it going?
Some of Ben's risk factors for reoffending include gang affiliation and drug and alcohol abuse. So when in the home, probation officers look for signs of those risks.
So Ben, it's important to understand that if you breach your home detention, that you may go back inside.
Okay.
So what is the relationship like between you and the offender?
Yeah, it's important to realise the client is the community and not the offender.
An electronic monitoring anklet is attached. The anklet alerts a monitoring company if Ben leaves the property.
Today was really interesting. It was good to see how probation officers help people change their lives.
Now Teresa is at Community Probation Services in West Auckland to meet DJ Tahi Tahi.
Morning, Teresa.
Morning.
I'm DJ.
Hi.
Okay, come with me. Let's
DJ
go.
is a community work supervisor, supervising offenders that have been ordered by a judge to do community service.
Morning, Teresa. How are you? Good.
First up is a briefing with the senior community work supervisor to see what work is scheduled for the day. Now it's roll call, where Teresa comes face to face with the 8 offenders for the day.
Be aware of your behaviour out in the field. Remember, you're working in a public area. Your community work supervisor will give you a health and safety brief once you get to site.
After DJ does an on-site roll call, Teresa lets the offenders know what work needs to be done.
Okay, so today our tasks include a bit of gardening and planting to do. Around the stream there's some rubbish and stuff that needs to be picked up, and we're also going to be removing some graffiti. Let's do it. What's the best way to communicate with a group of offenders?
That's a good question. Just being firm and fair, recognising that they are on sentence. We're dealing with the offender, not the offence.
Okay. So what happens if there's conflict between two guys that don't get along?
That's part of the skill as a community work supervisor, is identifying those situations. There's also training which the department gives around de-escalating, giving you the tools to manage those.
But offenders generally comply with their sentences because if they don't, they can ultimately end up back in court.
What type of person do you think is suited for this job?
A person that's able to communicate well, read situations, and is able to be clear and concise, especially with giving direction to the offenders.
What do you like about this job?
I like you know, meeting the people. They're interesting. supporting the community, doing projects that the community will benefit from, and yeah, just the challenge of the job.
Community work supervisors can be great role models for offenders. They ensure offenders make reparation to the community for their offending, do a job they can be proud of, and learn the value of an honest day's work. Community work supervisors have broad life experience, excellent people skills, and often practical work skills. They need a first aid certificate and a current driver licence. If you apply, you need to declare any criminal convictions, and offences may affect your selection. Basic knowledge of Microsoft Office applications is desirable but not essential. To be a probation officer, a relevant tertiary qualification such as a degree in psychology, criminology, sociology or social work is preferred but not essential. However, any degree is valuable as research, decision making and analytical skills are important. You will need a full driver licence. On application, you need to declare any criminal convictions, and offences may affect your selection. When appointed as a probation officer, the Department of Corrections gives comprehensive role-specific training. It's not easy trying to decide which path to take when it comes to choosing a career, but by watching Just the Job, you might see something that sparks your interest. To help with some excellent advice on getting your career started, here's Selwyn from Careers New Zealand.
Whenever you hear people talking about career planning, goal setting is a phrase that is often used. Goals help you move from one place to another. They don't have to be the final destination. Think of them as pit stops on your career journey. So work out the small steps and think about the people in your life that can support you to achieve these. You may not know your ultimate destination, but goals help to keep you motivated and moving forward.
To find out more about the careers we looked at this week and heaps of other information about making that right career choice, visit our program website tvnz.co.nz/justthejob. So best of luck, and I'll see you here again next week.
Supporting local content so you can see more of New Zealand on air.